recording. All right. As we are continuing with this theme of writing equations of lines, okay? We're still going to be using point-slope form, okay? One of the things that you're going to notice about today being a little bit different, they are not going to give you the slope. They're going to give you a couple of points, a couple of ordered pairs of numbers. You are going to have to calculate slope. Then we can use the slope and a point to determine that equation and kind of go back to what we've been doing. So the first thing I've got up here is real quick, let's revisit using the slope formula. And so what I've got on the TV there is I've got two ordered pairs of numbers, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's simple, okay? 3, 4, 5, 6. That describes 2 points on a line, okay? There's the slope formula right underneath. Remember with your slope formula, we are subtracting the two y values on the top, and we are subtracting the two x values on the bottom. It does not matter which way you subtract, just do it the same for both the x's and the y's, okay? All right, so guys, again, it doesn't matter. So really the sub 2 and sub 1 stuff, not a big deal, okay? So with this particular pair, probably what I would do is I would subtract from right to left, okay? Just because those numbers are bigger. What is my y value in the ordered pair on the right? 6. So we're going to go 6 minus, and then the y value on the point on the left is indeed 4. So on top, you're going to have 6 minus 4. Those are your y values. And then on the bottom, we're going to go 5 minus 3. Those are your x values. Okay, 6 minus 4, and then on the bottom, 5 minus 3. 6 minus 4 is what? 2. 5 minus 3, 2. And 2 over 2? 1. So right there, the slope would be 1. Okay? But just thought we needed to probably revisit that process because you're going to be using that today. Okay? Is everybody okay with that? Okay? Remember the y stuff is on the top, x stuff is on the bottom. All right? It doesn't matter which way you subtract, just do it the same for both. You could have done 4 minus 6 and 3 minus 5. That would have been negative 2 over negative 2, which is still positive 1. You're going to get the same result. Okay? Any questions about just a quick calculation of slope? Okay. All right, next slide. Okay, right there. Write the equation of a line that passes through the points 3, 4, and 4, 6 in slope-intercept form. Write the equation of a line that passes through the points 3, 4, and 4, 6 in slope-intercept form. Okay? So again, what kind of information have you been given? They gave you 2 points. Okay? Guys, to write the equation of a line, you have to know slope. All right? So hopefully we read this, we look at this and say, okay, I don't know a slope. Do I have enough information to get slope? Do we have enough information? No. How many points did they give us? They gave us 2 points. 3, 4 is a point. 4, 6 is a point. Okay? And if we have 2 points, we can determine a line. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the points 3, 4, and 4, 6, and we're going to run them through slope formula, just like we did. What are my y values?
6 and 4.
Okay, so let's go 6 minus 4 on the top. And on the bottom, what are we going to do? What are we subtracting on the bottom? What are my x values?
4 and 3.
4 and 3. So we're going to go 4 minus 3. Guys, we have to be able to calculate slope from 2 points. If you see 2 points and they want to know the slope or we need to figure slope, that's a high percentage shot. We've got to be able to do that. 6 minus 4 over 4 minus 3, that's going to be what? 2 over 1, which is 2. 2 over 1 is just 2. The slope of this line is 2. And remember that lowercase m represents slope. So m equals 2. So first order of business, find the slope. Is everybody okay with that? Any questions about that? Yes? Because it's 2 over 1. 2 divided by 1. 2 over 1 is just 2. Okay? Now, here's the information that we have now. We know the slope is 2. We also have 2 points that are on this line. Okay? To use point-slope form, we need a point and a slope. Guys, which point do you want to use? You get to choose. Do you want to use the point 3, 4, or do you want to use 4, 6? 3, 4? It doesn't matter. We're going to use the point 3, 4 and a slope of 2. It does not matter which point that you choose. They are both on the same line. We know the slope now. We're going to use the point 3, 4. Now we're going to go to point slope form. Y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. Here we go. Y minus, what's my y value? What is it? 4. Y minus 4 equals, what's my slope? 2 times x minus, what's my x value? 3. We take my point, we take my slope, we're going to plug it into point-slope form. Y minus 4 equals 2 times x minus 3. And again, remember, that is a legitimate equation of a line in point-slope form. We are headed towards slope-intercept. So we need to solve this for y. Distribute the 2. Y minus 4 equals 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 3 is what? Negative 6. Good. Remember this process here. We have to distribute that slope. Got to get that slope throughout. What's the one number that's going to need to move to get y by itself? And how's it going to move? Perfect. Add 4 to both sides. Y equals 2x. And then what is negative 6 plus 4? Thank you. There you go. Y equals 2x minus 2. So a little more involved here, okay? A little extra work up front trying to find that slope first. But once you find the slope, you can pick a point. Both points are on the same line. It does not matter which point that you choose. And then we're going to plug it into point-slope form, which is pretty friendly. Okay? Questions? Got a couple more that we'll do. We'll try to refine the process here. Everybody okay with that? Okay. Next one. Write the equation of a line that passes through the points 3, 5 and 5, negative 3 in slope-intercept form. Okay? So very, very similar problem, obviously. Okay? First order of business, we're going to have to go and use the slope formula. There's my 2 points, 3, 5, and 5, negative 3. Be careful with negative numbers with your slope formula. Which y value do you want to use first on top? What are my 2 y values? Okay, which one do you want to use first? You want to go 5? If we go 5, then we're going to go 5 minus, what's the other y value? Negative 3. So be careful right here. 5 minus negative 3. Yeah, hold that thought. Good. 5 minus negative 3. Okay, so then on the bottom, how are we going to do our x's? Well, now look what we did. With our y's, we went left to right. We went 5 minus negative 3. So you need to do the same for the x's. So it's going to need to be 3 minus 5. Okay? So be careful here, all right? Again, subtraction order doesn't matter, but you've got to make sure that you do it for both the x's and the y's. Okay? So right up here, minus a negative, what does this minus a negative become? What does that become right there? That becomes a big old plus. That is really 5 plus 3. And what's 5 plus 3?
8.
8. And on the bottom, what's 3 minus 5?
10.
Negative 2. Watch your signs. What is 8 divided by negative 2? Negative 4. Your slope is negative 4. 8 divided by negative 2, if we reduce that fraction, that is negative 4. So, we know our slope. Which point do you want to use? Do you want to use 3, 5 or 5, negative 3? 3, 5, okay? I agree. They're both positive numbers. I'd probably choose the same. We're going to use the point 3, 5. We have a slope of negative 4. We are now going to plug that into point slope form. So we're going to go y minus, what's my y value? Y is what? 5. Equals, what's my slope? Negative 4 times x minus, what's my x value? 3. Y minus 5 equals negative 4 times x minus 3. Everybody okay with where all that has come from thus far? Okay, keep writing. You're going to distribute next. Take that slope. Take that slope. Let's distribute the slope. Y minus 5 equals negative 4 times x is what? Negative 4 times x? Negative 4x. Negative 4 times negative 3. Positive 12. What's the last number moving? How? Add 5. That's right. Isolate that. Isolate that y. Y equals negative 4x plus 17. Good. There you go. Slope-intercept form. my opinion, I think the hardest thing you're going to do at these problems right here is calculate the slope. If you can calculate the slope properly, then all you have to do is pick a point, and you're plugging into point slope form, which should be pretty friendly, okay? And then you're just doing a little bit of manipulation to get the equation to slope intercept form, okay? But a little more involved. But if you ever just see two ordered pairs of numbers and we're talking about equations of lines, you probably need to be calculating slope. We have to be able to calculate slope. Okay, any questions here? I think there's one more of these. Let's do one more of these. Hey, hurry, go. All right, we good? You got it, Christian?
Yep.
All right, buddy. All right.
Wait, I'm still working.
All right, here we go. All right, write the equation of a line that passes through the points -4, -3, and 4, -1 in slope-intercept form. So a few more negative numbers here, so let's be careful when we calculate this slope. So -4, -3, and 4, -1. Which way do you want to subtract here? Do you want to go right to left or left to right? You want to go left to right? Okay, so if we go left to right, my first y value is going to be -3. Minus. Put that minus sign right behind that first number. -3 minus. What's the next y value? -1. Now, we kind of know where that's headed, but for right now, -3 minus -1. It will. Just hold that thought. Yep. Over, and now my x value, -4 minus 4. Guys, watch your signs here. With all these negative numbers, really watch your signs. Minus a negative becomes a positive. So on the top there, you really have -3 plus 1. What is -3 plus 1? -2. And what is -4 minus 4? -8. Well, now what? Look at this. -2 over -8. If you reduce that fraction, if you divide both those numbers by 2, what do you get? You get 1 over 4. Your slope is 1/4. Okay? Smaller numbers on the top, so it's going to be fractional. Your slope is 1/4. And we did some problems last week with a fractional slope. Which point do you want to use? Do you want to use -4, -3, or 4, -1? Okay. So let's go 4, -1, and we've got a slope of 1/4. Okay? All right, here we go. y minus, what's the y value? Negative 1. Okay, so I'm going to put it in just like that for right now. Y minus negative 1 equals, there's my slope, 1/4 times x minus, what's my x value? 4. Okay, so y minus negative 1 equals 1/4 times x minus 4. Oh. Well, yes. Now, y minus negative 1, there's that double sign again. That is going to become y plus 1. Guys, remember with this point-slope form, there are built-in minus signs. The only way those minus signs become plus signs is if you plug in a negative x or y value. Okay? So that's y plus 1. 1/4 times x is 1/4 x. Now, down here in yellow, I'm going to do the next thing. I'm going to do 1/4 times negative 4 over 1. We talked about this last week. If you multiply a fraction to a non-fraction, put that non-fraction over 1. And then multiply across the top and across the bottom. 1 times negative 4. Guys, what's 1 times negative 4? And what's 4 times 1? And what's negative 4 over 4? Negative 1. So 1/4 times that negative 4 is going to give you negative 1. So again, it works out pretty nice. Okay, give it a chance. Okay, to get y by itself, what's the last thing leaving? How? Agreed. Subtract 1. Y equals 1/4 x. What's negative 1 minus 1? Negative 1 minus 1. Thank you. Negative 2. Okay? So again, could end up with a fractional slope. Give it a chance. Probably a good chance it's going to work itself out pretty nicely. Okay? Okay? Anything? Any questions thus far? Okay? Has everybody got it written down? Good? Okay. All right. Now, go ahead and write the equation. Write that equation down. Obviously, you don't need to draw an elaborate coordinate plane like this. I've got it up there, but okay. Let's say they gave you the equation of a line in point-slope form. That's what you're looking at, okay? Y minus 3 equals 2 times x minus 1. And they ask you to graph this line from this information, okay? Something we need to be able to do is look at that form and understand in that form there is a point on a graph that I can get, and the slope will tell me the rise and run from that point so that I can get the line, okay? Now, are you seeing plus signs or minus signs in this one? Seeing minus signs, okay? Remember, point-slope form has built-in minus signs. So if you're still seeing minus signs, that means the numbers that have gone in there are positive. Yeah, it's a little bit deceiving because you're seeing minus signs. But remember, point-slope form, and I'll write it up there again. There it is right there. If you are seeing minus signs, that means those numbers that went in for x and y are really positive numbers. You're not getting a sign change. Okay? So, with that said, guys, what's the x value that went into that form? What's the x value? Well, you're still seeing a minus sign, so what kind of a 1 is that? That is a positive 1. If you are seeing minus signs, that means those numbers that went into those spots are positive. So the x value is 1. What's the y value?
3.
The y value is 3. Y minus 3. That is your y value. Guys, there's the point that was used, the 0.13. What's the slope? 2. And I'm going to write it 2 over 1 because we want to rise and a run. If it's just 2, it's technically 2 over 1. Okay? So now, here's how we graph this. Plot this point 1, 3. So for you guys, you could probably get you a little coordinate plane like that. And we want to plot the point 1, 3. So you could do like 1, 3 right there. That's right 1 up 3. Right 1 up 3. Put a point there. We have to know where to rise and run from. That's why the point's going on the graph first. Where is your slope telling you to go if it's 2 over 1? Up 2? Right 1. Remember, up is positive, right is positive. Down is negative, left is negative. If your slope is 2, that's up 2, right 1. So, from the point that we plotted, we're going to go up 2, right 1, and we're going to put another point. Up 2, right 1, and we put another point, and then we can draw a line through those 2 points. You can do the same thing here. Up 2, right 1. But we need to be able to look at one of these forms and know what that information is that is setting in those forms, okay? Point slope form is giving you a point and a slope. We just need to know how to pull that back out, okay? Everybody okay with that? We're going to do another one. This was one of the other things that was tested that we needed to go over. Okay, let's take a look at this one here. Just, again, jot down that equation. Y minus 1 equals negative 3 times x plus 2. Okay? Now, take a look at your parentheses. That's where we're going to get the x value. In the parentheses, are you seeing a minus or a plus? A plus. The only way you get a sign change is if a negative number goes in. So what's the x value that went into this form? Negative 2. How do we know that that's a negative 2? Because we're seeing a plus sign inside there. The only way we're going to get a sign change in this form is if a negative number goes in for x or y. So if you're seeing a plus, that means a negative number went in there. Guys, that 2 is really negative 2 that went in there. What's the y value? 1. You're still seeing a minus sign, aren't you? And as long as we see a minus sign, we know that a positive number went in there. What's the slope?
Wait, is that a comma or is that a 1?
That is a comma. What's the slope?
3.
-3, and I'm going to put it over 1 because I want a rise number and I want a run number. If your slope is not fractional, then we know that we can put a 1 underneath. Okay, so let's go plot the point -2, 1. So that means we're going to go left 2, down 1. We're going to go left 2, down 1, put a point. Now, where's the slope telling me to go? Oh. Left 2, down, I'm sorry. My fault. Left 2, up 1, isn't it? Good job. Left 2, up 1, my fault. Write it off to a Monday. Left 2, up 1, sorry. -2, +1, left 2, up 1. Make that correction, please, my fault. Where is the slope telling me to go from here if it's -3/1?
Down 3, right 1.
Down 3, right 1. 1, 2, 3, right 1. Down 3, right 1. It's a negative slope. We should expect a downhill line. We've got a line that does appear to be downhill from left to right, so that's good. You have to plot the point first because we have to know where to rise and run from. As long as we have a point and a slope, we can graph a line. Okay. Got one left. All right, good, Christian? All right, big guy. I think this is the last one. Last one. Yep. All right. Okay, last one. Y plus 2 equals 2/3 times x minus 4. Y plus 2 equals 2/3 times x minus 4. All right, here we go. Y plus 2 equals 2/3 times x minus 4. Okay. What's the x value that went in?
4. Negative.
Positive or negative 4?
Positive.
Positive 4. If you are seeing a minus sign, that means that number is positive. What is the y value that went in? Thank you, -2. Because you're seeing y plus 2, because that's a plus sign, that tells us that 2 was a negative value. So 4 -2 is your point. Your slope, what's your slope? Say again? 2/3. Okay, so let's go plot the point. 4 -2. We're going to go what? Right 4, down 2? Right 4, down 2. Put a point. Right 4, down 2. Put a point. Where is the slope telling me to go? Up 2, right 3. Both numbers are positive, so it's up and right. So from that point, 4 -2, we're going to go up 2, 1, 2, right 3, 1, 2, 3. It's a positive slope. We should expect an uphill line. It does appear we have an uphill line. Okay? Any questions there? We need to be able to do that, though. Need to be able to kind of pull this information back out of this form and be able to go use it. We've been putting a lot of information into the form and going forward. Now this is kind of coming backwards a little bit. Okay? Okay. Whoops. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go 2, 4, 6.
I think you should just leave that 2 for it.
7 to 10. Don't worry about those 3 right there. And what is that? 14 to 16? Yep.
Hey, can you go back to, can you go back 1 page?
Yep, give me 1 second. All right, jot that down. 2, 4, 6, 7 through 10. That's kind of what we just did. And then 14 to 16. 2, 4, and 6 are a little bit of review of kind of what we did early on. 7 through 10 we just got done doing. 14, 15, and 16 are what we looked at today. Yeah.